Manhattan, which was fine for me, but I was supposed to be a lawyer working out of New Jersey, and I was halfway through law school in New Jersey, and midway through, Tony, there's a picture of me on my website if anyone wants to look. The reason why I look better today is because I'm happier, but there's a photo of me on the About Maura section from the midpoint of my law school studies, and if you look at my face, you look at my eyes, you look at my countenance, you will see an image of a person who is separated from their soul or separated from their joy. And that place that's really important to them about what makes them happy as an individual, why they came here on the earth, what kinds of things do they want to explore. And what I envisioned at that point in that photograph was, oh my gosh, I'm halfway through law school. I'm going to have to stay in New Jersey, this cold state, even though I want to be in the warm weather, and I'm going to have to be committed to a career in law that doesn't really speak for my passions. And I was always a passionate person who enjoyed being out and doing things, and the energy was just depleting from me. So the short story was, in midpoint, I took a leave of absence from law school, which was really a permanent leave, had a background in business. We had our own business for a while. I was a homeschooling mom. And at midlife, my husband and I decided to do something that would really be meaningful for both of us. And so today, when you hear that I write, I speak, actually on an international level now, I'm an author, I'm a HuffPost person, I do workshops. Everything I do is from that perspective of inviting people to reconnect with their own hearts, with their souls, and with their callings in life, so that if they work and do things out of that place, and it could be something very simple like caring for your children, or being a grandparent who goes to the library and helps young people read, or someone like myself who in her 50s decided I was going to come out of obscurity and become a voice in the culture to help other people see themselves through a brighter light. And that's what I do. But I love seeing people reconnect with their hearts and with that spark within them. So how's that for a lengthy but short answer about 57 years of life?
Well, there's so much, that is enjoyable about what you said. The fact that you're a storyteller represents why you are getting the recognition that you're getting, and being able to do the things that you're doing, is because you're talking about facts, but through stories of your own, and I think that's what people relate to. My question is, I know, I grew up in the Philadelphia area. I spent majority of my summers in the seashore down in the South Jersey area as well. So we kind of come from the same land, so to speak. But as you were growing up, there's the Jersey girl, right? When I was a kid, they stood out because they just were different than the girls in Philadelphia. And there's always a joke in there. There's always something in there. But they really did stand out, and it was because they weren't shy, and they were willing to participate as a group. Now, as you went through your life and you did these different things, what made you decide? There had to be a point in time. I mean, you didn't wake up one day and say, hey, you know what, I think I'm going to start doing this today. What was that thing what happened in your journey that made you shift to doing more with others?
You know what? As a really little girl, Tony, and I have a long memory, I just loved being around people. Sincerely, I loved being around people, every different kind. And as far as I was concerned, I wanted to unite with people, not only in my hometown or my family, but in other parts of the world. This may be an interesting thing for some of your listeners to hear. Even though I was very strongly groomed when I was growing up to be a certain person, to be a very conservative, intellectually minded New Jersey lawyer, there was always this underlying process in my life. You spoke earlier today on your show about self-development. and a mental vacation. Well, for me, it was as if I lived life on two channels. I had a one channel where growing up as a child, having parents, having to answer to teachers, etc., and employers, I would always do what I was asked, and I would do my best job at it. But I had a second channel underneath it that I would call my channel. It was like having a second radio station. And I would always find ways, Tony, to think about what was important to me, to get time alone. I would almost call it a mental vacation. I would close out the outside world, and I would be present with my own thoughts, with books that were important to me, with ideas that really captivated me. Sometimes they would come from movies I'd watch or ideas that I had. And so what I would do throughout the course of my life is everything I was supposed to do, let's say by society or, even as a parent, as a woman who worked in corporate America. But I would find time to cultivate my personal interests. And what you see me doing today, I have probably been planning for. No, I'm going to say I have been planning for my entire life. In all the things I used to do, they were stepping stones for me to understand society, to go through many of the processes in life that all people go through, to become familiar with those kinds of things and be able to relate to others that have been in that situation. But now, being a parent of a child who's, well on her own and independent, and having simplified my life and my husband's, I can really devote all of my training, all of my experiences, and all of my time to doing exactly what I love, and that is inspiring and empowering other people to reconnect with their own hearts and to live out of that space. And I'm telling you, Tony, this is an interesting thing. As we do what we love, as we pursue avenues that we consider important to us, whether they're things that we're curious about or skills we've developed or innate talents, and as we put them to use, not only are we happy as individuals, and not only do we feel satisfied, but we end up contributing to society at a larger level. We stop comparing ourselves with others. We stop competing in negative fashions. We stop lining ourselves up with other people to say, I need to be better than this person. And all we're busy doing is being happy in our own realm, and we end up attracting similar-minded people. We end up giving other people permission to be their best self too, and we end up really raising society at a level that society usually doesn't address, and that is I would almost call it the social quotient, the emotional quotient, the spiritual quotient. We're too busy running after money and things at times, and we don't realize that we could lose our own hearts. And I give people an opportunity to think about those things and to cultivate them in their own lives.
Now, I'm on your website, and I want to tell everyone again, it's MAURA, the number 4, the letter U.com. And, I'm a big fan of searching everyone's website. I think it's really important to learn the free stuff that's out there for people to see value, right? And you have a tab called Welcome. And, it says on here, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So is he. I love the quote, but what I really like on this page is the opportunity you're giving people. If you're a viewing type, you have over 200 videos. If you're more of the authoritarian by nature, there's podcasts, and you have stories, 6 ebooks. This gives people a chance. This is a great idea. I interview thousands of guests, and this is a tab that I've never seen like this, and I'm thinking I need this on my website. That's a great idea, because you have given people 3 different ways to come on board to view the stuff that you do so that they can work with you. What I'd like to know is, when someone says, I want to work with Maura, what is it that they're going to be able to do working with you? Is there programs, workshop, training, coaching? Is there any of that stuff?
Well, thanks for asking. Believe it or not, Tony, most of what I do because I love it. It's a vocation and a calling. So people can come to me They could read my stuff for free. They could listen to my stuff for free. They could watch my stuff for free. And while we're here on this radio show, the only thing that I actually sell on my website that comes from me are 99-cent books. And I would be happy as a gift. They can choose a book about competition, a book about judgment, a book about influence, or a book about comfort zones. They're all short reads. If they want to write to me, Maura@mauraforyou.com, I will be happy to send them a free book. Beyond that, I do a small amount of consulting. I could probably do a lot of consulting, Tony, with people who either in their personal lives or their professional lives are stuck, and their mind is got them in a place they can't get out of their way. It's almost like they feel like they're their own worst enemy. I have a very developed talent for asking people questions based upon what they tell me, and they're always reflective questions that will cause someone else to go into their own mind to say, how am I seeing myself? And I don't tell people what to do, but I give them the tools to see things through a different and brighter lens. So I would say the consulting. And beyond that, I am a keynote speaker, a workshop leader, and a group facilitator, like a moderator. Any opportunity that I could get together with people and meet them, which gives me a thrill, but also to extend myself and help others see themselves through a brighter lens. Tony, makes me thrilled.
Well, I love your enthusiasm. I really do. I like the fact that you are really. I just really believe that our whole purpose here is to help others, and I don't know how it works out, but the results always seem to be when you help others, the help comes to you 10 times fold. It really is unexplainable. But I've tried it, and not because I was smart, just because I was kind of forced into it. And it's been the biggest payoff I've ever received. And, I've worked in the casino for 20 years and seen some really big jackpots hit, but nothing can match up to the value of the rewards that come from helping others. So I'm really excited about this. You have something coming up this Friday, I believe, and I really want to make sure that everyone knows about this, because to me this is the wow factor that I've gotten on my show this morning, because if I can meet people that are doing what you're doing, it's a big wow for me. Can you tell them about this?
Tony, I'd be thrilled, and I know you have people everywhere listening to you. The United Nations made a declaration 2 years ago that there was going to be an annual Nelson Mandela Day, and it will be celebrated for the first time outside our nation's capital in Frederick, Maryland, this coming Friday. And it's a combination of lots of entertainment, which will be fun, as well as speakers. So I have been invited to be one of the keynote speakers as well as a workshop participant during Nelson Mandela Day. And I cannot even tell you how thrilled I am. If you or anyone looks at the picture of Nelson Mandela, you may not remember everything the man did in his life, but you can see a spirit of joy and a spirit that welcomes the hearts of other people and looks to lift people up. Would you believe that UNESCO, that invited me in, is introducing me as the ambassador of happiness? Now, Tony, this will be one last thing. Maybe I could finish. I'm not watching the time you are. Do you know, as a little girl, I wasn't always happy, and I didn't always have easy experiences in life, but I wanted to see the world. I wanted to meet new friends, and I knew that I wanted to grow up to be happy. Now, I've been successful, as other people would call it, in various ways, but my goal has been happy. So for me, years later, to know that I've traveled to over 50 countries, I'm invited to speak with other people throughout the world that know that I could connect with them immediately and inspire them, and to have the executive director of UNESCO invite me in for the first ever Nelson Mandela Day and to be introduced as the ambassador of happiness. Tony, if I at age 57, and I didn't start doing this until after my daughter grew up, if I at age 57 can end up in the Gulf Stream of what was in my heart as a little child, knowing it would make me happy, what does that say for every other person? Every person that's listening in your audience today, go and remember to get that quiet time find out what was important to you as a child, those things that made you smile, those things that really felt like they spoke for you, and find a channel where you can begin working it and implementing it in your own life. And so, anyway, here I am, Ambassador of Happiness, Frederick, Maryland, for the UNESCO-sponsored first annual Nelson Mandela Day